What up, everyone? I am the Comic Outlaw, coming to you from parts unknown in my own little slice of heaven. And it's been a while since the Comic Outlaws hit you with a top 10 list. And I thought it appropriate to maybe go a little hardcore, if you know what I'm saying. So, I thought, set that down for a minute, that this time, this show, we could dedicate it to the hardcore division that was in the Attitude Era. And yes, if you notice the background, I rearranged the office a little bit so you get another peek of some of my other stuff that little knickknacks I've collected over the years. But yes, today we're doing the Attitude Era hardcore division. And these are some of the people that have held the hardcore title. The hardcore title was a title that was held back in the Attitude Era. I will be doing a review on the DVD later, but I just had to do my own top 10. Now, the hardcore belt was one of those belts that I did enjoy because the reason is because it gave mid-carders more spotlight. And I think that's one of the problems that we have. We have a title the Universal title that we hardly ever see, the Intercontinental title. There's no other scraps. I mean, at least in WWE, there's a world title, a United States title, a television title, and a tag title. It gave a little more. And then there was a cruiserweight title at one point. So it was kind of nice to see gold spread around. And by the way, just so you know, Arn Anderson owned that television title for a long time. If you don't know what I'm saying, look it up. But anyways, these are some of the unsung heroes, and some of them have been sung. I mean, some of them a few of them may be future Hall of Famers, you never know. And other guys are just guys that I like, that I found entertaining, that held the title. So, like I said, this is my list, and if you don't like my list, then bite my burrito. So, let's get on with it. Let's start with number 10. One of my favorite guys is the Big Show, okay? And I put him on here because, well, it's basically a no-brainer. When that man had the title, he owned the title. I mean, I remember seeing matches where he was taking on 6 guys. Bam, 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 bam. And I know people say the Big Show is flipped back and forth, but he's a giant. He does whatever the hell he wants. Period. And I'm just going to take this for him to say, since just Chris Jericho is still in it, and the Big Show is still in it, they should bring back Jericho. And lay that out there. Bring back Jericho. But moving on from the Big Show, Kane. And yes, the Red Demon of Destruction is low on this one, but he had it a few times. I don't know, like, Kane always was used in other storylines, and he's good. He had a few good matches, but I put him a little lower on this list because I felt like the people a little higher had more personality when they had the title, or their title reigns or feuds were just so off the chain, it just had to bring them up higher. Speaking of which, the Boss Man, or the Big Boss Man in the 80s, and Bubba Rogers even before that. By the way, him and Hacksaw Jim Duggan had a tuxedo match back in the day. You should look that up. Funny as hell. But anyways, the Boss Man held the title for a while. Vicious, able to use that nightstick. He fit well into the Attitude Era. I mean, he did a small stint in the NWO, but really found his, last stride, I felt, during the Attitude Era, and holding the hardcore title was one of those things that elevated him. Like I said, it did a great job for elevating mid-carders. And moving on from that, another good person that got a little spotlight because of the title was the Lethal Weapon, Steve Blackman. This guy is one of the toughest guys in the world. He will whoop your ass, period. And yes, other stuff that he did with Al Snow was funny, and he had some great matches, and the man knew how to fight. I mean, every time he flung a weapon, you wondered if he was really going to take someone out. Bam! So, yes, Steve, the Lethal Weapon Blackman. Moving on, a guy that another guy that I feel doesn't get enough recognition, but he sure does bitch a lot about it. Hardcore Holly. And he has a right to bitch. I mean, that man could have done so much, but he did a lot with the hardcore title. and it's in his name, Hardcore Holly. It elevated him, it changed him. The hardcore division did wonders for his career. It gave him that boost that I think he wasn't going to get otherwise if it wasn't for the title. So I had to put Hardcore Holly on this. Tough man, had some great matches, and you just didn't want to piss him off, period. Now, the next guy on the list, I'm going to have to say, is Al Snow. You know what I mean? What does everybody want? Heard. What does everybody need? Heard. You know what I'm talking about. Al Snow is just a crazy bastard. And I love the way he fought. I love the angle that he did with Boss Man, the whole Chihuahua thing. I mean, and Al Snow is just crazy. He's a character, and he really hammed it up. And you got to give it to him. He had some classic matches. And I'm going to save a lot of this for the DVD review. So you kind of get an idea. This is going to be like a part 1 or part 2-ish thing. Yes, but Al Snow, very cool. Very out there. Leader of the Job Squad, which was a bunch of kind of like ECW leftovers and a few other guys. You know, they were kind of like the loser squad, and they were proud of it. And only in the Attitude Era could you do something like that. You know, very inventive, very interesting. Al Snow. Now the other guy coming up on this list, I'll give you a hint. Oh, you didn't know? Then your ass better call somebody. Yes, the D-O-double-G, the Road Dogg. I love the Road Dogg. I loved him when he was in, you know, doing his thing in DX, the New Age Outlaws. I thought when he had the hardcore title, when he was fighting for it, he brought a new spin to it. I love how he would, how he went out one day just talking shit to both competitors as they were having their match. It was kind of perfect for the Road Dogg because he was kind of a cheater, and he was a great heel anyways, and he could talk a lot of shit, and he kind of put some swagger into it. That's why he's high on my list. The Road Dogg will always have a special place in my heart. So, like I said, it's my list. Moving on. The number 3 spot. Rob Van Dam. Well, do I have to say any more? I mean, he's Rob Van Dam. ECW champion, heavyweight champion, television champion in ECW. I mean, this man has done it all. I mean, he just kicks ass. You know, he likes to smoke a little bitch. You know, but this man, all jokes aside, great fighter, great agility, wrestler. This man can do everything. He's earned the title Mr. Monday Night. Now, my second one may not have the skill of Rob Van Dam, but he just has a special place in my heart, Crash Holly. And the reason he's so high on this is he did the 24-hour rule, where the title was defended 24 hours a day. Just one of the most amusing skits where he's being chased by the headbangers, I think, through the amusement park, and he's sliding down the slide. And like the 24-hour thing just opened up all kinds of different chaos. And Crash Holly really put that together. That's why he's number 2 on this list. And number 1, what about me? What about Raven? Yes, Raven has won the title. He claims over 30 times. Some say 20, some say 39. Who knows? But I think Raven really never got his shot like some of the other people, like DDP, some of the other guys that kind of crossed over. A lot of the ECW guys, for example, Dreamer, you know, like some of these guys never really got their shot, except for the hardcore division. I felt Raven was kind of pigeon-toed into that. He could have had a great Intercontinental run, for example, I think, or you know, but he did a great job for what he had. I think Raven was a great example of what the hardcore division could do. He did real inventive things, like his match with Rhino, where, you know, the cart thing, he hit him with everything but the sink. He'd come out with a shopping cart full of stuff with a little Frankenstein guy in the front. Yeah, I've seen it. And the man was just a tactician when it came to hardcore. And he did a great job in putting a little essence into it, where it just wasn't a slugfest. And that's why I appreciate Raven. That's why he's number 1. And of course, because if I don't say this, the fans are going to get pissed off. So I'm going to do some honorable mentions because I don't want to hear any bitching. And of course, I'm going to put Mick Foley on this, the first champion. The reason he's not my top 10 is he deserved the title. He earned it. He deserved it, you know. But he lost it right away. He never really went for it. But Foley was chasing other dreams. He's part of the Rock and Sock connection, you know, so That's why he's not in the top 10, but that's why I'm giving him an honorable mention. I will always give an honorable mention to the hardcore legend, the hardcore god, Mick Foley. But he really did nothing with he had the title. He carried the title, but I felt that other people carried the torch a lot further. Like Pat Patterson was the first Intercontinental Champion, but I think Bret Hart did more for it. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, now that's out of the way. Another honorable mention, of course, is Rhino. Rhino almost made my top 10. It was a tough call, but I had to leave him out. He would have been number 11. Rhino, man's double tough. Back in the day, before he was Heath Ledger's partner, or Heath Slater's partner, I mean, the man could go. He was a lot thinner, a lot meaner. Back in ECW, the man was a beast. So, had to mention him. And of course, I'm going to give an honorable mention to Gerald Briscoe, because he became hardcore champion with just one finger. Why Crash Hartley was asleep. I mean, it was absolutely brilliant. It was a fantastic heelish thing to do, because back then, like I said, the Bell had a 24-hour title thing. Crash had hired the APA to protect him when he slept. The APA decided to go out and get some beer. You know how it is. You run out of beer, you run out of smokes, you got to go out somewhere. So Gerald Briscoe just came in, laid one finger on him, had the ref apply. 3. And Gerald Briscoe became the hardcore champion. So I had to give an honorable mention to that. It was just part of the craziness of the title. It was part of the craziness of the era. And I missed the hardcore title. And I sort of missed that craziness that I had, that unpredictable, like, you never knew what was going to happen. And I just love how it involved more of the mid-card guys. Like, every once in a while there'd be an appearance by Rock or Chris Jericho or someone, but it really gave the mid-card guys a chance to shine. I think that's something that we're really missing now. I know we're missing it in the women's division. I mean, women's tag team is cool, but a second belt would be even better. I'm just saying, WWE, I know you don't want to get too hardcore with the PG thing, but bring a little something back. This is me, the Comic Outlaw, dropping some knowledge of my top 10 hardcore wrestlers from the Attitude Era. And this is your boy, and I'm going to tell you one time that I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.